not sure if it was brought to your attention, but she has a swastika that was tattooed on her.
Your Honor,
And multiple tattoos. She's received 53 tattoos.
We are on the record this morning in the Kundiff file. There's a couple things set for today. There is the review, as well as, well, there's proceedings in both parents, let's put it that way. I have the names of our participants, please.
Carson Howard, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Moore?
Macy Moore, foster care worker with Catholic Charities.
Michael Brooks, I represent the legal father, Christopher Kundiff.
Thank you. Have you heard from your client, Mr. Brooks?
I have not.
You're looking for Ms. Berger as it relates to Ellie Garen, the mother. To see if she can join us a little bit early, because I think the proceedings for mom were scheduled to begin at 10:30 to allow for time for your client, Mr. Brooks. We're starting a little bit late. Would it be okay with you if we went forward with his hearing regardless of his absence?
No, I have no objection, Your Honor. I have encountered this situation countless times, and I don't anticipate him being there.
Very well. We'll look for a little testimony about whatever contacts from our caseworker. Ms. Thomas, is that where you'd like to begin?
Yes, Your Honor, we can, or if Mr. Howard would like to provide his report. I don't know how you'd like to handle that part, but happy to do
Our
either way.
caseworker is chomping at the bit. So let's let her go first, and then we'll go to Mr. Howard.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
She can tell us a little bit about her attempts to get Mr. Kundiff to join us today as well, I hope. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Moore, for today's hearing related to both parents, you've submitted a court report, a brief court report with their proposed case service plans. Other than that packet of documents, have you submitted and or circulated anything else to the court or other attorneys?
No, I have not.
Okay, Ms. Thomas, before you go any further, I just want to allow Ms. Berger, who's joined us early, thank you so much, to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ariel Berger here on behalf of Mother.
Thank you. And do we have Ellie Garen here with us? Thank you. Would you come on up and have a seat next to Mr. Brooks, please? All right, so at this point, we'll just consolidate the two review hearings for purposes of judicial economy and because Mr. Kundiff has not joined us. You haven't missed Mr. Howard's report, Ms. Berger. Ms. Macy Moore was absolutely excited to testify this morning, so we're letting her go first.
Okay, no problem.
Ms. Thomas.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, so you've not provided any other documents. Are there any updates or modifications that you're aware of that need to be made to your court report?
I have just a few updates. And just for my clarification, I'm allowed to talk about both parents?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Just to try to avoid the child.
Perfect. So I did speak with Mr. Kundiff at 8:17 this morning, and he reported to me he was going to be here in person. So I am a little confused why he is not. He did confirm his parenting time for this afternoon as well. So I guess we'll see if we'll see him there. For Mr. Kundiff, a few updates is he remains on the Orchards Foster Care Supportive Visitation wait list. He should be next on the wait list. He has provided me with a Michigan driver's license, registration, and insurance. And then one new update for Mr. Kundiff is that there has been additional charges filed, but nothing has been picked up by the prosecutor's office yet. And then updates as it relates to Ms. Garen is she has started virtual therapy at Intentional Counseling and Wellness. She is off of probation, and the adult foster care case is completely closed out. And then there is a program down in Pennsylvania that has a bed open for her, and it is a sex trafficking and exploitation, survivors program, and they do have a bed available today to take her. I think it would be a beneficial program. And then just a few updates as it relates to the child. She is growing like a weed lately, well adjusted to the home, no concerns there. She basically just moved homes with the same caregiver, so she was used to her caregiver. And then the main concern with her is that she's pretty refluxy after she eats. But she has a doctor's appointment on the 27th of next week, so they'll be bringing that up. That is all of my updates though.
And I believe today she's scheduled for the DNA testing. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. And has a proper, and I know the last time that DNA was attempted, it could not be done because a proper person did not take her. Has transportation been secured for her?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And then as it relates to the parents' compliance with and benefit from their case service plan, can you give us a little bit, can you summarize what that is like for them during this review period?
Yeah, I think it's going. It's a slow start. Everybody's kind of getting their toes in the water is kind of how I would explain it. I would say we're getting there. We're not fully running, but we're definitely starting.
And what are some of the barriers to reunification at this point in time for each parent?
Some of the barriers include just mental health counseling and well-being. That's one of my main concerns. We have some pending criminal charges as it relates to the father. And then, could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just asked what the barriers to reunification are for each of the parents.
Okay, and then housing is a big one as well as it relates to both parents. If Miss Garen stays in Michigan, if she returns to Pennsylvania, housing's not as big of a concern. And that is all I can really think of on the top of my head without reviewing my report.
Are the parents, during parenting time, are they appropriate with the child?
They are appropriate and they are both very accepting of like tips and tricks. Like saying, try holding her this way. They're both very receptive of that.
Okay. Do you believe that either of them would be ready to transition to unsupervised parenting time?
I do not believe so. I would like to see the foster care supportive visitation kind of start and get going before we head that direction.
As it relates to mom, the report, and I believe kind of during this review period in general, there's been some conversations or concerns about whether mom would be able to go to Pennsylvania with her parents and guardians. Do you have a formal request at this time as to what you believe would be in mom's best interest? And if it's to go to Pennsylvania, how does the agency intend on supporting her through that goal of reunification?
Yes, I would recommend that her returning with her guardians to Pennsylvania would be what's in her best interest. I believe that they would be able to support her the best. And the agency would be able to do every other week. If they wanted to drive up, we could do weekend visits with the family. And then the weeks that they do not come up, we could do FaceTime visits with the mother and the child.
Okay. And I know that you had submitted an ICPC request. Do you have any updates as of today?
I don't have many updates. I know that the Pennsylvania worker was able to go out to the Garen's home and conduct the home visit, but I have not received a report back yet.
Okay. If during this review period, ICPC confirms and approves the placement with the grandparents in Pennsylvania, what would be the agency's plan to support reunification with Mr. Kundiff?
Um,
And it's okay if you haven't discussed that yet. I just was wondering if you've thought about that.
I have not thought about it. I believe my supervisor has thought about it a little deeper than I have. I was just kind of worried about the issues at hand. So that is something that we would have to look into.
When you reported that Mr. Kundiff is potentially, or I think maybe the best way to explain this is law enforcement has submitted for additional charges against dad, correct?
Correct.
But the prosecuting attorney has not formalized or authorized those charges. Is that correct, to the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge, I believe that the officer who wrote up the report is meeting with the prosecutors tomorrow.
Okay. And based on your knowledge of the police report, is there any allegation that this child would have been born to an assault against the mother?
I object. There's nothing here that the court can take cognizance of. It's a rumor. And there's nobody here to support it firsthand. Even though I know we're in a review hearing, I mean, that's just, there's nothing there until there is something here.
Any response?
Your Honor, I believe it's relevant, given the fact that we have a parent who may be residing in a different state. The agency is required to provide reasonable efforts towards reunification to both parents, not just one. However, if there's concern about one of the parents being physically or sexually abusive and what that might mean for the child and reunification goal, I think it is relevant. And I know the rules of evidence don't apply, and so I'm just wondering what information Ms. Moore has at this time to help guide us.
Well, I think the allegation that the child could have been born as a result of an assault is too speculative at this point. I would be happy to hear about any additional charges that have been requested against Mr. Kundiff or anything else that's pending, or any other sources that may be available to us, like a police report, in order to speak to such a risk. But I do agree with Mr. Brooks that I think at this point it's a bit speculative.
Yeah. Ms. Moore, the police report that you've provided me, have you circulated that to the LJL or anyone else?
I do not, but I have 5 copies with me currently.
Do you believe that the information contained in the report that you reviewed would be beneficial for the court to have and for the other attorneys to have?
I believe so, yes.
Your Honor, may I ask the court if we can circulate those reports at this time?
Any objections?
Reports from who?
It's a police report on the investigation into Christopher Kundiff.
How is that any different than what my objection is?
Mr. Kundiff has just appeared to us. If you just have a seat in the front row, please.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Okay, so the
I
objection.
mean, I realize the DHS attorney wants to get this in, but you know what? We all know this is not going to be an overnight hearing or anything like that, and there's plenty of time to do it properly, and this is not the proper time.
Further objections from you, Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Berger, any objections?
No, I would just ask that if it's distributed, someone email it to me.
Okay. Ms. Thomas, would you like to respond to that objection?
Your Honor, I fully respect Mr. Brooks' position at this time. Based on the email thread that I'm part of from Ms. Moore, she received this on Friday. And so being able to circulate it beforehand is a little difficult. I will defer to the court and, obviously follow the court's instruction on whether or not it's proper to provide that information now or wait until the next hearing. And I'm sure at that point in time, we'd also have more information from the prosecuting office as well.
Thank you. I am going to overrule the objection. Hearsay is allowed under the court rules, and the criminality aspect of Mr. Kundiff's case was clearly a part of the initial adjudication. So for our purposes today, I think for continued review of those allegations and the investigation and the current progress of the case is certainly relevant. And it's not quite as speculative as simply just the allegations that Ms. Macy Moore was trying to share with us earlier. I'm going to receive it, but I will reserve to Mr. Brooks and to all of our attorneys the right to cross-examination on this exhibit in future hearings. So Deputy Ames, well, Ms. Moore, actually, if you don't have it right there, this second.
It's right there.
Is it in the clip?
Yep, in the black clip, underneath the 2 documents.
If you could take those documents up to Ms. Moore and let her give you exactly what she'd like you to circulate. The police report is being admitted into evidence, so we'll need Mr. Howard and Mr. Brooks to have a copy, as well as myself. There's some copies there.
Oh,
Yep, all of them are separate,
Thank you, Ms.
of course.
All right, any more questions, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you.
But just based on the criminality component, Ms. Moore, do you have any concerns about allowing continued supervised parenting time with Mr. Kundiff, or do you believe that there are sufficient safeguards in place for the child at this time?
I believe that there is sufficient safeguards for the child at this time.
Great. And is there anything else from your court report or your knowledge of the case that you'd like the court to be aware of?
Nothing further.
Thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Moore. Would just formally move for the court to accept the court report with the case service plans attached. Thank you.
Objections?
No,
No, Your Honor.
No objection.
Thank you. The court report is received with the case service plans. Questions for this witness, Ms. Berger?
Not at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
I have a couple of questions for you. Give me a sense of the geography we're talking about here. This young lady seated to my right is now living in Pennsylvania.
No, we are requesting that that be the case.
I see. Where does she live?
She is just floating around hotels.
Oh, I thought she had a guardian.
Yep, but she's not, the guardians live in Pennsylvania and she can't return with them to Pennsylvania. So we're requesting that occur.
Where in Pennsylvania does this guardian live?
I can't recall the town, honestly.
What's it near?
I could not tell you. I'm not good with geography.
You do recognize it's a big state.
I do understand that, yes,
On the east, it borders New York City,
correct.
and on the west, it's in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yes,
I have family out there. All right. So if this young lady's, or if the father finds himself with the child in Pennsylvania, he's got some serious travel issues, doesn't he?
correct.
He lives in Michigan.
Correct.
But all those things are gonna get decided at another date here, right?
I believe so.
All right, the next and last question I have is, I understand that he is the legal father. Is that your understanding?
Yes,
Oh, there's still gonna be DNA testing?
correct.
Why is that?
I'm not sure if my understanding is it was ordered during the DD case. And then it fell onto me, so I scheduled DNA testing and that's as far as I'm aware.
Do you support that DNA testing?
I don't think it hurts either way.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Mr. Howard, any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. What services is Mr. Kundiff currently participating in?
Off the top of my head, he does parenting time every day or every Monday and Wednesday. And then he also has been doing the CPC parenting classes weekly. And those are all I can recall off the top of my head without.
Are those in-person classes or?
The CPC ones are in person.
All right, and then I saw in the court report that he hasn't been to the domestic violence group and the counseling with CMH. Is that an issue with a referral, or is that an issue with him not participating?
I believe the CMH referral is just an issue with him not participating. And then the John Bailey referral, he reported, I believe last week to our visit aide that he has had troubles getting a hold of John Bailey.
And then if, excuse me, if he remains on the Orchards wait list, is there another alternative service that can be provided to him that may be available sooner?
Yes and no. There's a Wells Springs foster care supportive visitation program as well, but they most likely have a wait list as well. So there's not any specific watch your visit, because the reason I like the foster care supportive visitation is that it's a hands-on at the parenting time. So those two are our only options for hands-on at parenting time.
And then all of this visitation has taken place in the conference room at DHHS.
Correct.
Is there another place that visitation could occur?
There is another place visitation could occur, but we have it set up so parents stagger visits so that they don't run into each other.
And then as far as Miss Garen, I know you said she's living in a hotel with one of her guardians coming and going. What have you guys done or looked into to explore other living arrangements for her in Michigan?
Oh, goodness. I think between me and Randy Welch from Adult Protective Services, I think we called every home in southeastern Michigan. I know we've even got up to Grand Rapids. So I think we've called basically every homeless shelter, any women's group home possible in the state of Michigan, and all of them told us no.
And then as far as Ms. Garen's services, she's just doing the therapy and the visitation.
Correct. And then she is also on the wait list for foster care supportive visitation, but she is under Mr. Kundiff.
Is she engaged in any parenting classes?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Is there virtual parenting classes that she could do, whether it be if she were to move back to Pennsylvania or be here, that you could help her get involved with?
I could definitely look into it. And then I know we have some Bavlock parenting courses as well that I could provide to her.
Nothing further.
Okay. So Ellie Garen is under the jurisdiction of the court in the probate court case, yes. You're aware of that?
Oh, no, I wasn't. I thought that was all dropped.
So that's how she's in a guardianship. She's in a Michigan guardianship. And the letters of authority in that case and a recent motion were to, well, the letters of authority indicate that she's required to stay in Michigan in order to cooperate with case services and to allow her to visit with her daughter for purposes of working towards reunification. There was a recent motion that was denied to allow her to return to Pennsylvania, given that it would appear that Ms. Garen would like to continue to move towards reunification and would need to be able to be here to visit with her child to work towards those goals. Secondarily, I would like to know, well, and given that I'm giving you this information now, my questions will be a little premature for you.
Okay.
But here are my concerns in short. Yep. So Michigan guardianship authority ends at the Michigan state line.
Okay.
If the court were to allow the guardians to take Ellie out of the state of Michigan, there is nothing that would require her to stay with the guardians at that point or to stay in the program that you've arranged with her. Obviously, at the outset of the case, we found Ellie abandoning a program in order to meet up with Mr. Kundiff and get herself into the situation that she's in now. My concern in granting a request to send her back to Pennsylvania without any authority granted in Pennsylvania is that we may find ourselves in the same situation.
Right.
Would you be willing to work with the guardians to find out whether or not and how guardianship authority or the equivalent thereof could be accomplished in Pennsylvania?
Absolutely.
Did I hear you correctly that the investigation into their home in Pennsylvania has not been concluded yet?
The home study has been done, like the worker came out, finished the home study, but the report has not been finalized yet. So I don't know the answer of that.
So have you spoken to the person who did the home study?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Prior to her doing the home study, I did, but not since.
All right. Assuming that the guardians have established their authority in Pennsylvania with Ellie and that home study demonstrates that the home that she lives in with the support of her guardians doesn't present a risk of harm if the court were to reunify Ellie with her daughter. Is that something that you're considering?
Can you repeat yourself?
Assuming that the guardians establish authority for Ellie in Pennsylvania as guardians, and assuming that the home study comes back that there's no concerns with their household in Pennsylvania, is there a risk of harm associated with returning this child to the parent, Ellie, in Pennsylvania?
I do not believe so, no.
Thank you. Questions on redirect or anything else, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, this may be inappropriate at this time. I just would like the court to know that I had, during this review period, I had a conversation with mom's attorney in the DD case regarding how to, I'm going to refer to this as registering the orders of authority in Pennsylvania. It does not seem that we have, or Michigan is part of like a UCC JEA equivalent for guardianships. We did look into that and whether we had some sort of interstate compact to allow us to do that. So it is on our radar. And I will happily guide Ms. Moore and work with Mr. Amadeo on that issue for the family. But other than that, Your Honor, I have no further questions about that particular issue.
All right. Any questions based on my questions or recross, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
I have a question for the court. Your question concerning this young lady and living with the guardian, does it presume that the mother and the infant would both reside with the guardian, or is there something more nebulous about the arrangement?
He would assume that if the child was returned, that Ms. Ellie would be residing in the home with the guardians and that home is safe for the child.
That's all. Thank you.
Questions, Mr. Howard?
No, nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your testimony. May we return to your seat? Any other witnesses today, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Witness testimony today, Ms. Berger?
Ellie, would you like to testify today?
She said no. Can you say it one more time so she can hear you?
Okay, thank you. I have no witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, I understand that Mr. Kundiff is now here.
He's sitting right behind you.
Hi. You want to testify?
Yes, I would.
Okay, come on up to our witness stand.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Miss, why don't we allow Ellie to take a break in the hallway during the testimony of Mr. Kundiff? It was our intention to have the review hearings scheduled separately. Anyway, so she doesn't need to be here for his testimony. Thank you. Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Kundiff, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
You've been here for the testimony so far, right?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry if I was late. I was told it was at 10:30, but if I was confused, I do apologize.
Sorry. Have you been cooperating with the department in the case service plan that they've laid out for you?
Yes, sir.
Are you, and this is frequently a problem in these cases, are you getting along with people you're working with?
Yeah, I would say we really don't have much conversation at all, no interaction. Even during parenting times, not much is said unless I have to sign the paperwork. It's just pretty much silent the entire time. There's no communication there.
No news is good news, Mr. Kundiff.
All right.
You've heard the long-term plan for this young lady who is sitting next to me to move to Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir.
Where in Pennsylvania, if you know?
That would be Easton, PA.
Easton, Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's over by Philly, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it's closer to the New York area.
Yeah, it's about as far as east as you can go in
Yes.
Pennsylvania. Thank you for that. What's your opinion of the mother and child living in Easton, Pennsylvania?
I really wouldn't personally be comfortable with that, knowing I'm biological father due to many factors.
How far away is Easton, if you know?
Honestly, I don't have any idea. I believe it's about 8 hours for Ellie would have said her parents had to drive to come out here at some point.
And you'd have to cross a mountain range.
Yes.
Where is the child now?
She is with my husband's mother. So her mother.
You don't have a husband, do you?
No.
So,
My sister, not her, my sister's husband's mother-in-law. So my sister's mother-in-law.
okay. And how far is that from where you live?
About 30 minutes.
And where do you live?
I live in Addison, Michigan.
So right now, we're talking about the potential of the father living in Addison, Michigan, and the child and the child's mother residing possibly in Easton, Pennsylvania. Do you think that's a workable plan?
No, not currently, because I am out on bond. I have a GPS tether on my left ankle right now. I'm going through a HIDA case right now, so all of it won't be public, but it will be found through law enforcement, things like that. So I will be on upstairs probation here in December, so that would be a huge issue with travel anytime throughout the next couple of years. I'd say with 2 to 4 years, it would be a major issue to travel.
Is this because of the allegations that have been floating around here this morning?
I'm not sure what was said this morning. It would have nothing to do with this case. It would have to do with the case prior that I was being charged with a felonious assault that I've accepted a plea deal to, but I am cooperating.
I see. Do you know anything about the one that they're referring to today? I don't want the details.
I do not.
All right. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like the court to know?
Other than if you have any other questions, no, sir.
I have no further questions, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Thomas, any questions?
No, excuse me, no, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Berger, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Howard?
Yes, just briefly. Have you engaged with community mental health to start individualized therapy?
I've not engaged with them. I got the slip. I wasn't sure because they said there was 2 of them. I was waiting on a referral, so I wasn't sure which one I was waiting on the referral for. I got the referral, which is on November 11th, which I do plan to attend as scheduled. And then I can call CMH anytime, which is in the building. We did the DNA test and we do the visits in, so I could stop in tonight or even not tonight, right after the visitation today, if it was that big of a concern. Like if it needs to be done immediately, I can definitely do that today.
And then Ms. Moore discussed your interactions with Mr. John Bailey and not being able to get a hold of him.
Yes,
That's
in
accurate.
the past, I've been referred to him in cases that I was alleged domestic violence and I had to do a Zoom with him. I paid him the $50 for the Zoom. He never sent me the Zoom link or contacted me further. Other than that, that's really the only communication I've ever had with him. I was referred to him. Case was dropped, like the charges were dismissed, so nothing came of it. And then after I PayPal'd him the money for the counseling session, I never heard anything back from him.
Would you be open to engaging with him or another domestic violence?
Yes, I would be open to engaging with him if he's willing to answer. I've called him a couple of times within the past, like whenever I reported that, past couple of weeks prior to that, and he hasn't responded.
How do you think the visits are going with?
They're going well. They're going well.
Are you okay with this format of the visits right now?
In what aspect do you?
Like the location, the place, the nature of the visit?
I mean, I prefer it to be somewhere else because when Ellie was doing it on her own, when I was in jail, it was reported to be done at Catholic Charities. It just seems more like a relaxed, comfortable environment, not such a business type area. More like a relaxed area, more like a house in that sense, to where you can be more comfortable with your child than be right out the door and hear a bunch of people working on their cases with DHS.
Sounds like nothing perfect.
Okay. Any redirect, Mr. Brooks?
No, Your Honor, I'd simply ask the witness if, when you're done,
Yes, sir.
have a seat next to me.
You may return your seat.
All right.
Any other witnesses, Mr. Brooks?
None.
Mr. Howard?
Your Honor.
Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think at this time, obviously the goal for reunification remains appropriate. I think that there are referrals set for both parents to help address those barriers to reunification and the conditions that cause a child to come into care. I also think that we're still sort of at this investigation stage of the case. The interstate compact and having parents in 2 different states does pose an issue. However, once the abuse and neglect case is closed out, I think that would be more appropriate for the family courts to figure out. And there's obviously going to need to be, in order for custody, parents do live in different states quite often. And I think that the agency is willing to support mom in the goal of reunification if this court was to grant her the ability to leave. I understand the legal ramifications and what needs to happen in order for that to be a possibility. But I think that we are making some headway and at least have a bigger plan for this family. And I think at this time, it's most appropriate to continue status quo until we can figure out how to either register the letters of authority in Pennsylvania and or establish a guardianship there somehow and make it transfer. I don't know the logistics of that yet, but it is something that's on our radar. Other than that, Your Honor, we would just ask that the court continue to order the supervised parenting time. It seems that the Orchards parenting time program would be really good for both of these parents. And I think that a standard 90-day review would be beneficial as well. Thank you.
Any comments, Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. We would just ask for another review period and allow time for hopefully the ICPC to go through and to continue into the investigation, like Ms. Thomas stated. My client's goal is still reunification. I know that that's what she wants, and that's what the department is trying to support. So we have no objection to another review period being scheduled. Thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
I don't think it comes as any surprise that I will be anticipating objecting to a move to eastern Pennsylvania. As I said, I am familiar with that state, and that's a long way from where we're sitting right now. Over the mountains, across the plains, and up to suburban New York City, where that child's gonna live. And this guy lives in Edison, Michigan. That's not what's best for my client, nor do I believe it's best for the infant who can't possibly become acquainted with his father, her father, with that distance challenge. And for that reason alone, I say it's not in the interest of the child. Thank you.
Mr. Howard, I look forward to your comments as well as your report.
Yes, Your Honor. I was able to meet with the child on September 29th, 2025 in person during a parenting time session that took place with her father. The parenting time location is just, kind of in this conference room. There are some books and toys, but just not really an organic way to conduct parenting time. And I know there are some limitations with the staggering of visits, but just really not the most organic way. But Mr. Kundiff always does his best to get the most out of it. This is the second parenting time I've observed with him. He's always upbeat and excited to see his daughter. I spent this visit really reading a book to her, and the child impressed me with her kind of attention span. She was always like looking at the pictures. So that was evidence of meeting some developmental milestones during the visit, just like tracking, which was nice to see. I'm excited for this Orchards programming to start. I know we've been waiting on it for quite some time now, but I think it'll just allow for some more organic visits, as Ms. Moore put it, just like a hands-on way to conduct visitation and learn some new parenting techniques. In the meantime, I think I'd encourage Mr. Kundiff to bring a blanket or something padded and, do some activities on the floor to allow the child to participate in tummy time, or just, being on the floor to change it up a little bit. Right now, it's like kind of sitting on a couch, but you'd be simulating more of a home-like environment if you're able to go on like a carpet or a floor. But, I've talked with the current placement about the child, and, she's, experienced in child rearing, and she said she really doesn't have any concerns for the child. She's just in this fussy phase. And they're gonna go check out with the reflex doctor and hopefully get an answer there. But she said it was nothing that she couldn't handle, and nothing that she hasn't seen before with her kids or grandparents or grandkids. At this point, I believe it is in the child's best interest to remain in that current placement. As far as mom goes, I have not met with mom this reporting period, but I've had some extensive conversations with her mother and current guardian, Miss Tanya Garen. And, I think we've talked a lot about the lack of options for her in Michigan today. So I do think it would be best for her to return to Pennsylvania. And really, as I see her moving to Pennsylvania, I see it more to focus on herself. She's got a lot of work to do with mental health and just overall parental instincts, and just kind of getting into this more normal routine. Right now she's living in a hotel and has been, and her parents tell me, I just can't imagine if there's any normalcy that can be established there. The program that her parents have identified for her in Pennsylvania seems like a really good one to get her back up on her feet. They have the mental health treatment, but they also do, I was told they do like a workshop, like they have like a store there that the patients to kind of help run. So just those kinds of things I think would be really good for her, and, you know, to focus on herself, not as much, you know, reunificate or in positioning herself to be in a position to reunification with the child. The guardians have discussed coming back to Michigan for bi-weekly visits, and then of course doing some virtual visits as well. So I think that would be a more appropriate, you know, path. I would caution just moving the child right now to Pennsylvania or whenever the ICPC request goes through, while we're still in reunification efforts with dad. I think that would really hinder his potential to reunify with this child. But overall, I do think, you know, it'd be best for Ellie or Miss Garen to return to Pennsylvania and really focus on herself, to put herself in a position to be able to parent this child in a long-term capabilities. I don't think that's something that's happening here in Michigan with the current situation, and I'd be happy to help support some of that guardianship transfer and anything of that nature. But overall, I think it's in the child's best interest to remain with the current placement, and both parents to, and especially dad, to start engaging in some of those services through CMH or John Bailey or whatever domestic violence classes that he can find. Yeah, just more work on themselves this next reporting period. The child did not express her wishes due to her age. Thank you.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. The child is in the safest and least restrictive circumstances. As Ms. Garen attempts to undertake some services and look at arranging housing and residency in Pennsylvania, which is what I've heard expressed by everyone. But to be perfectly honest, Ms. Berger, I'd like you to talk with her and see if you can find out what her actual intentions are and what her preferences would be. In this case, obviously, we have some guardians that have a very strong motivation, understandably so, to allow their daughter to return to Pennsylvania. But as I articulated during the course of the cross-examination and voir dire of Ms. Macy Moore, the court has significant concerns in allowing that to happen without any authority established in Pennsylvania. I'd also like to know if she actually wants to go back to Pennsylvania at this time without her daughter, understanding the limitations that would come with around visitation with her daughter. So if you could meet with her so that the court can better understand her position and the position of the guardians in this matter, I would appreciate it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Pardon me, Your Honor.
Yes. Your name, please.
Tanya Garen, Eliana's mother and guardian.
Eliana, or, okay, that's her full name, I take it?
Yes.
Okay, come on up to our podium. Deputy, would you swear her in, please?
Raise your right hand, please. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I'm sorry, your name one more time?
Tanya Garen,
Okay,
Ellie's
Garen.
mom and guardian.
Yes, I'm glad you're here today. What efforts have you made in order to secure authority as the equivalent of a guardian for your daughter in Pennsylvania?
I have spoken to Judge Corey out in Northampton County. And I've also spoken with people from the Orphans Court, which is also the probate court there in Northampton County. I've received paperwork, which I can initiate today, that I didn't start yet due to Ellie still being here in Michigan. I was hoping, after speaking with you and getting the information from all other parties involved, that the program that we mentioned out in Pennsylvania would be good placement for her while that process of the guardianship in Pennsylvania take place.
Okay, do you understand that without authority as a guardian in Pennsylvania or wherever that program is at, that Ellie has no requirement to stay there and you have absolutely no authority to enroll her in it or ask her to complete it?
Yes, and I understand, Your Honor. She actually reached out to that organization herself, and she's expressing her desire to return home due to the trauma that she's endured out here. Not sure if it was brought to your attention, but she has a swastika that was tattooed on her
Your Honor,
and
I
multiple
object.
tattoos. She's received 53 tattoos.
There's
since
been an
she's here.
objection. And I'd like you to go ahead and express that, Mr.
The scope of my objection is taking shots at my client at this point is not within the scope of your question. Your focus is on what are they doing to move this process forward? Not that they don't like my client, which we already know.
Yes, that was part of the initial disposition and the adjudication process. I'm well aware of the facts and circumstances in this case. Also aware of the motion that you filed in the guardianship case asking to relocate your child to Pennsylvania. I'm also aware that the reason she got here to Michigan in the first place is because she was enrolled in some other program and left that program voluntarily because you didn't have guardianship and wound up in Michigan in the situation under the circumstances that you now find yourself in. So I just want you to understand that under no circumstances am I allowing your daughter to move back to Pennsylvania, whether it's in a guardianship case or this case, until you've established the authority to keep her safe in your care. Do you have any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone else have questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. Does anyone have any comments to Taylor based on the testimony of this last witness?
No,
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, counselors. All right, so as a result of those circumstances that surround Ms. Ellie Garen at the moment, as well as the fact that she doesn't have stable housing here in Michigan at the time, and that the department cannot find that it's a safe and stable environment with mom in the state of Michigan at the moment, the child will remain in foster care placement. I would also ask the department to look at Ms. Ellie Garen's circumstances here in Michigan to determine whether or not return to this parent in the care of her guardians would present a risk of harm in the state of Michigan pending the next review. As it relates to Mr. Kundiff, I'm glad to hear he's engaged in services. We'll need to continue to understand what's happening with his criminal case, criminal charges, and the services that he's working on, especially around those allegations of criminality. Aaron Kim appears to be doing fine. And I hope to see that expand over the course of the next report period, assuming that serves the best interest of the child and continues not to pose a risk of harm. In the meantime, the child will remain in her foster care placement that is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances. Look for some answers to my questions and the other developments in our next review. I would offer to you by way of date and time, January the 13th, 2026. And I'd like to schedule the review for Ellie Garen at 1:30 and the review for Christopher Kundiff at 2:30 to try to avoid the overlap. No violations for Mr. Kundiff as far as any bond conditions that may be in place and to avoid any further trauma to Ms. Garen. It'll be a permanency planning hearing in addition to the review schedule. The treatment reports should be separate for each parent as well. Court reports on updates. Ms. Macy Moore, also please keep those separate just based on some of the trauma that's happened to safeguard Ms. Garen against that and to safeguard any violations of Mr. Kundiff as well as any potential abuse of that information being transferred given the history of the case. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
no, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, briefly, Your Honor, my calendar shows that we have another hearing scheduled for the 13th at 1:30.
Oh, I'm sorry, the 12th. I meant to schedule for the afternoon of
Okay.
the 12th.
I'm sorry if I
Afternoon
misheard
should
that.
be- Thank you.
The
I'm glad-
12th,
Yes, it'll be the 12th. It's a Monday.
12th of November.
I'm subpoenaed for a trial upstairs.
Excuse me,
It's
Mike,
January.
January.
it's 12th of January?
You have a trial scheduled on the 12th of January?
No, next one.
Okay, this is January.
Okay.
12th of
January.
January.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry about that.
Hey, sorry.
Everyone's, okay. I think we're on the same page now. January 12th at 1:30 for Ms. Garen, 2:30 for Mr. Kundiff. Any other questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for your time and efforts. The order will contain the rest of the findings.